Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. Yeah, you know what it is. Hard worker, scrappy, unfiltered, and sometimes unhinged football content. Hard to explain, but you know it when you see it. Doing it daily our way. I don't know what you're talking about right now. Redraft and Dynasty Fantasy Football, we got you covered. You know their defense is ranked like 31st in the NFL? NFL draft prospects and rookies? Now you know you in the right place for that.
Absolutely.
All right, then stop saying it. Then we're done. And prop bets with my man JRich. Count that money, man. Now wipe the crust out of your eyes. Get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake your ass up with Ray G. You honestly are making absolutely no sense and you sound silly as hell. GMGP. How y'all doing this morning? I appreciate y'all waking y'all asses up here on Friday, September the 8th, 2023. Y'all know who it is, your boy Ray G. Y'all decided to wake up with your boy, and I am happy you are here. Who we got in the building this morning? There's a lot of people in the chat. We were a little late. I'm sorry about that. What's up, Brandon? GMGP to you. Gretchen, how are you? Got a congratulations to Lindsay. Is that Lindsay Mack? What's Lindsay Mack? Whoa, JRich. Longtime wake up viewer, one of the patrons, one of the squad members, Lindsay Mack. Wife and I are getting ready for our first child in December. Congratulations, Lindsay. Congratulations. Very happy for you, man. Shout out to Lindsay Mack. She has been tapping in with us, JRich, since the damn beginning, man. Congratulations to you and your wife, Lindsay. That's dope. New child in December, right at the end of fantasy season. You see how they timed that thing out? They timed it out, baby, towards the end of fantasy season so she could just, go through the summer unimpeded. So congratulations to you, Lindsay. Gretchen in the building. Brian, Jimbo, what's up, baby? Yeah, we'll get there, Jimbo. What's up with you, Jimbo? Tyler Claire in the building. Josh in the building. Drew, what's up, Drew? Gerard, bunch of folks in here. Emilio, Raymond, Rico. What's going on? We got a dope show for you. And yes, the NFL season is officially back. A lot to talk about. We had the Chiefs and the Lions last night. And then, Jay, there was some news that I missed last night. My sons, they had 2 games this week, 6 years old. Got them playing twice a week, but they had a game last night. They tied 10-10. Jay, little man went 3 for 3, baby. 3 for 3.
Let's go.
Shortstop. Yeah, man. Contact hitter, not a power hitter, contact hitter. So I missed some of the news that happened. Let's get you on the screen, Jay, and talk about it for a minute. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Want to say congrats to Lindsay. That's amazing. I didn't want to interrupt you there while you're going through the intros, but wanted to say congrats to her. That's so dope. Super exciting for you too. So really happy for y'all. And like you mentioned, man, Lindsay been with us forever, bro.
Yeah,
like for the longest. So can't be happier for one of our viewers. But Ray, man, I mean, you want to talk about stuff that broke yesterday. The NFL season was almost here, and that means contract time is upon us. And my goodness, Ray, we got a monster from Joe
We'll get
Burrow.
to it. Don't bring it up. I don't want to bring it up. We'll get to it. I didn't see it. So when you
How
put
do you
it in,
not see the contract extension? Highest paid player in NFL history.
When I'm in coach, I coach. So I'm in coach mode, man. I no phone, none of that.
What you
I'm
coaching
locked
this
into
year?
these 6-year-olds playing damn baseball, man. So I didn't see anything, even last night. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Everybody out there, I announced it on when was the last show? Wednesday? Today's Friday. Wednesday. But this Sunday morning, I will be having a new show over here on the Wake Up channel, Breakfast and Bets. Mitch Carl will be on along with myself, but it will be, I think, Jay, when am I doing it? 9 a.m. Eastern time, I think, Breakfast and Bets. So here's my plea to the fantasy community. I think we should tap into this. Listen, Jay. We think we know everything. Jerick McKinnon's going to be so involved. They set the line at 2.5 receptions as 1 damn catch, man. These sports bettors are the sharpest people in the world. They got all this damn information. So instead of you just watching your favorite start-sit show and somebody telling you, I like this player better than the other, come tap into the betting show. Let's talk about what Vegas is doing with the lines. They're factoring in weather, game environment, home and away splits. Like, come watch this show, and if you're looking like, damn, he's only projected 40 yards, 2.5 receptions, maybe I don't want to start this player. So make sure you tap in. Breakfast and Bets with your boy this Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Jay, what else we got before we get into the show, man? We got a lot to get. We got a lot, a lot to get to.
Big show sheet, big game last night, and a lot of fallout, I'm sure. A lot of overreactions because, the fantasy community is always so rational, right? Always so rational. But I don't know where you want to start, whether you want to get straight to the game, whether you want to talk about Bosa, whether you want to talk about Burrow, whether you want to talk about
Bosa.
Kupp.
What happened with Bosa? There was some Bosa news. Go ahead and run the Bosa news.
Man, so Bosa got highest paid defensive player in history, $170 million, $125 million guaranteed, $30 million almost more than Khalil Mack's previous contract with the Bears. The 49ers paid up to get their man. We'll see about his availability this week, and we'll touch on that when we get to the Pittsburgh-San Fran game. But Bosa got his money. Thank God they needed him. And now, Ray, honestly, the way I see it, when are the Niners going to pay a quarterback? Because that defense is loaded. They're paying Nick Bosa like their quarterback because he truly is to that defense. Super excited for him and
Jay,
kind of what he means to that team.
Listen, we've been talking about this privately in the Discord, patreon.com/allgas. Join the Discord. I think, Jay, I'm just some theory here. I think NFL teams want to find, I'm just saying, Brock Purdy, basically a cheap quarterback that they can build all these superstars around. They don't have to pay a lot of money. Like, we're going to talk about Brock Purdy later, but I do think that we're going to get to a point where we see more NFL teams during the draft take shots on third-round quarterbacks, fourth-round quarterbacks. And that's not to say that every last one of them are going to get an opportunity. But, Jay, I bet you this, Jay. Bet money. The Raiders give Aiden O'Connell, they're going to give him a shot to see what they got.
This season?
Listen, let me finish my statement. They are going to give him a shot before they go spend a first-round pick on another quarterback. I bet you they give him an opportunity to play just to see what they have. You know, like maybe this guy can Brock Purdy us and we can build around him. But I do think that from a cost perspective, you may see more teams just take some shots on some guys later. If they get a couple of spot starts, could we potentially work something out here, build around these guys? And you look at the 49ers, and this team is ready to go. The highest paid D lineman in the NFL, the highest paid running back in the NFL. I believe Trent Williams, I don't think he's the highest paid left tackle now, but I know they've got the highest paid running back, the highest paid now the highest paid defensive end. Yeah. So, you know, it provides that flexibility for the team. So shout out to Nick Bosa. And all this means is Micah Parsons is about to break the bank. Micah Parsons next year will get the highest contract that we've ever seen in NFL history for a defender, and deservingly so. So good for Nick Bosa. He's back. But Chris Jones is not back. But I think his bag price is raising up after last night, Jay. So let's get into it. The Lions and the Chiefs played last night. Lions go into Arrowhead Stadium on banner night and get it done, Jay. Did you see this coming? Did you see the Lions making it happen? And let's talk about the players in the game, the fallout. Then I got this overreaction piece that we're going to do, and I want the audience to play with us too.
So I didn't see the Lions winning, right? I was on with Jordan Vanek yesterday on my pod that dropped this morning, and we talked about this game just a little bit because I wanted, you know, his philosophy on the Chiefs overall. And, you know, we talked a lot about Chris Jones and his impact. And you saw that basically from the second quarter on, the Lions could pretty much run down their throats, right? Especially in the second half, they were running the ball at will. JaMarr Gibbs should have had a touchdown, but he slipped. I think Jared Goff did enough, 22 for 35, 253, and a touchdown. But in my opinion, the offensive line really was the stars of this game. You know, David Montgomery, for everything he's not, maybe he was only 3.6 a carry, but those 21 carries for 74 yards in a tub were definitely worth it. He was in on a lot of pass blocking downs. You know, we don't expect JaMarr Gibbs to play on those, especially when they need that protection. I think that Montgomery did enough to provide support for Jared Goff in the backfield. But, you know, I think we saw some great things from Sam Laporta. We saw some great things from Josh Reynolds when he wasn't dropping passes. Amon-Ra St. Brown was great. I think all the questions really start on the Chiefs side, Ray. You know, we weren't sure what they're going to look like. Kelsey obviously didn't play in this one, and it kind of showed down the stretch. You know, early on, the Chiefs were playing well, but after that, I'd say second half and beyond, the Lions really dominated them. And I don't know what to make of the Chiefs right now. You know, Mahomes was good, and his receivers and playmakers really let him down in this one.
I'm going to stop you. I think nothing of the Chiefs. I think they're the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a team that played without multiple defenders. They played without arguably the biggest X factor in football in Travis Kelce. They played without arguably the best defensive tackle in football in Chris Jones, and they were still right there. They had egregious drops from Kadarius Toney, who I think I never want to say a player like lost the game for a team. But in this case, you know what I was thinking about last night, man? You know what I was thinking about? Here's a question, Jay. You ready? I'm just asking the question. You ready for this one? Who do fans today hate worse, Kadarius Toney or Eagles fans and Jalen Reagor? Which one of those two right now do you think people hate more right now?
It has to be Kadarius Toney. It has to.
I mean, he lost him that game.
It
Jay.
has to be.
Pick six, his fault. Then he goes across the middle. There's a mesh concept. Confusion.
I'm not putting that one
it was
on
a
him.
drop.
That was, in my opinion, poor timing from Mahomes. Maybe he had to get rid of it, but it was
I'm not
it wasn't
blaming Tony for
necessarily
that.
to either guy.
We're not blaming
right?
Tony for that, but
down the field on third and 20, dropped it.
What are you doing?
Terrible.
What are you doing? I mean,
and Ray, I think
we're going to see more Justin Ross. I don't how could you throw him back out there? He just looked completely unprepared for the game. You gave up 6 points, and then you probably cost yourself another 6 points, right? So at least 12 from Kadarius Toney, and it's just frustration. It's frustration. So that is one where, a lot of people drafted him in underdog. There was a lot of hype about him getting this opportunity. Immediately after that pick six, they had Justin Ross in the game for him. And Justin Ross, I believe, is the direct backup to Kadarius Toney. We'll see, Jay. I think they need to find they need to find somebody else, because if he's going to be depended upon or relied upon to make those clutch catches, I just don't know if he's a dependable guy for Patrick Mahomes. That was one of the worst performances I've seen from a receiver in a long time, man.
I was going to say, I'm not trying to overreact, but that was legitimately the worst performance from a wide receiver I think I've ever seen, right? He was dropping everything in sight, the pick six. Even when he ran the reverse, he lost 4 yards because he didn't run to the edge quick enough. And I don't know what it was with Toney. You talk about the Chiefs, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, 2 for 48, Justin Watson, 2 for 45, Noah Gray, 3 for 31. Ray, Isaiah Pacheco led the team in receptions.
It's crazy.
With 4.
Nah, Joe.
Rashee Rice got involved.
Joe said Toney low-key got low-key booed too. It was a rough one. Nah, he didn't get low-key booed. He got high-key booed. They was booing his ass for real, Joe. You know it. Joe's trying to soften it on a Friday. She's friendly Friday. Joe's like, I'm not here for the violence. Low-key. No, high-key, Joe. He got booed. It was a rough night for him, Jay. But for me, I think this was more of a testament to the Detroit Lions than it was an indictment against the Chiefs. I'm not worried about Kansas City long term. I want to know if people caught what I caught, and I don't want to overreact to it either. They said they tested Kelce out pregame in the pool, right? Said he had zero power. Wow. Couldn't even do the pregame warm up. So I'm just wondering how injured is Kelce? How hurt is he really? I thought Noah Gray was fine. The tight ends were fine. They weren't Travis Kelce, but collectively, Noah Gray, Blake Bell, I thought they were fine. I'm watching that. I'm saying they could do this another week or two. Let Kelce get 100% or close to 100%. They'll be okay without him. But then you're getting dropped. Sky Moore was completely invisible in that game. And then you just have to wonder, damn, are they okay? Do they need another pass catcher? McKinnon did nothing. What a bad bet that was. A lot of us, me included, said McKinnon is going to be a beneficiary. 0 from McKinnon. He did nothing. Yep. No runs, dropped a pass, 1 reception. So this is what happens, Jay. I am not shocked. You got to understand, these teams have prepped all summer, damn near, through training camp for this game. And inside of those plans were Travis Kelce. Then you tell me 2 days before the game, I'm not going to have offense. I'm surprised they looked as okay as they did. I'm not worried about them. Get Chris Jones back. Get Travis Kelce back. I think Kansas City will be fine, Jay. But my question to you is, do you want to do a little overreaction game? Do you want to have a little overreaction fun? Okay, let's have a little heat check. I just want to ask you, everybody in the chat, you got to participate. It's a damn game. It's a family. It's Friday. We're having some fun. Would you trade for or trade away this player right now? Trade for or trade away. And let's start with the man that seems like he frustrated everybody last night, and we'll get to it. Let's talk about JaMarr Gibbs. Heat check on JaMarr Gibbs. So he had 9 touches in his debut. Every one of them looked explosive. Like you said, got the ball on a counter near the goal line, tripped and fell. If he wouldn't have fell, he would have scored a touchdown. He's in the end zone, trips and falls. But JaMarr Gibbs, you look at David Montgomery, 21 carries, zero receptions. I don't even know if he got targeted, Jay.
Zero targets.
0 targets, 0 receptions, yet everybody is panicking about JaMarr Gibbs. It's week 1 on the road, banner night against the champs. Anybody out there that thought JaMarr Gibbs was about to walk out there and get 25 touches, you're out of your damn mind. So, Jay, I'm asking you today, right now, overreaction heat check, you trading for or trading away JaMarr Gibbs?
I would pretty easily be trading for JaMarr Gibbs, especially because it seems like the sentiment is a little bit down, for better or worse. You know, he had only played 29% of snaps, 21% of the attempts, and 25% route participation. That's courtesy of Dwayne McFarland's utilization report from My Fantasy Life. Go and check that out, because these numbers do matter. When you see he's only playing 29% of snaps, of course he's not going to have a monster game unless he scores a touchdown. But to your point, first game of the season, he can go up in touches. He can go up in snaps. He can play more. And so there's definitely more opportunity on the way for Gibbs. And what we saw from him was the explosiveness, was the contact balance, was the tackle breaking. There was a couple plays where he should have lost yards and he was gaining 2 or 3. And there was even one play where he broke 3 tackles and ran for a first down for like over 12 yards, and he was hitting the backfield. So easily, you want to buy if the price drops even a minuscule amount.
Patrick said, but are y'all paying yesterday's price today? Like, I think if you have Gibbs, you should feel good. Here's my thing. Don't worry. And let me tell you right now, I'm not going to be shocked if the Atlanta Falcons give Tyler Algier a bunch of work in week 1 and not ruin Bijan, right? So it's week 1. He got the high value touches. Here's the problem with the Lions, Jay. And we inside of the Destination Devy community have been anti-Jameson Williams. Want no part of him. No part of that J-Mo. They need him. The Detroit Lions, they got a dub.
Really?
That team lacks speed significantly, Jay. They don't have any speed. What was it? Josh Reynolds got the ball in the open field, walked down by a linebacker. And I get it, Willie Gay can run, but hawked down by a linebacker. All that talk about Amon-Ra being used down the field, I'm not buying it, Jay. I'm just not buying it. It didn't happen last night. I don't think it's going to happen. Amon-Ra is dope. But when you're talking about the Trinity, target share, air yard share, yards after the catch, the air yard share is the problem with me. Amon-Ra's never been an air yards guy, so he's got to live off of volume. He's dope. Got a touchdown. Phenomenal. All I'm saying is I don't think he's going to be used downfield. Marvin Jones doesn't have it in him anymore. They need an element of speed on that offense in the worst way. The only player with some juice on that offense is Gibbs right now. That is it. That is the only ounce of juice that they have on that offense, and it was very evident last night. So next heat check, Jay, what are you doing with this player right now in Dynasty? And this is an interesting one, Jay. Talk to me about Isaiah Pacheco. Led the team in receptions, but, I mean, it was a lot of Clyde Edwards-Helaire on the field last night, Jay. Mahomes scrambling around, a lot of Clyde. A lot of people drafted Pacheco in underdog drafts to be, a rock-solid RB2 this year for their fantasy teams. Scott Connor and I were talking last night, Jay, that he thinks it's just going to be a full-on 3-way committee all year. So you have Isaiah Pacheco today. Are you looking to, or you don't have him, are you looking to buy him? Or are you looking to move him, man?
I think if the price was right, not to say it was like low, but I actually would probably be looking to buy Pacheco because he was a guy who missed time with injury, right, throughout the offseason. So he was coming back a little bit slower. I think just like last season, Clyde started the year and he was playing, but then we realized that Pacheco was much better as a player. And I think that even showed on the field this week, right? Like Clyde got involved and that was kind of just annoying from a fantasy standpoint. But if the Chiefs want to win games, they're going to have to put their best players on the field. And I think we all know, and even they know, Clyde is not one of their better running backs. That would definitely be Isaiah Pacheco. And so I would be buying. The receptions aren't going to be there every week, but it was definitely encouraging because it wasn't something we saw last season. So I think it's just a slow way to ease him back into the offense for week 1. And I think just like last season, he will take over once again as the lead dog in this backfield.
This was split. The chat, I got probably half of the people saying I'll buy, some saying I'll hold, some saying you need to sell. So interesting one with Isaiah Pacheco. Heat check this player right now, Jay. This is an easy one. I'm going to heat check it, but everybody should be excited and encouraged. But the reason why I'm heat checking is because I saw some fantasy analysts pretty much saying it wasn't that good of a performance. He didn't break any tackles, didn't do anything after the catch. Why are we so excited? Sam Laporta, Jay, Detroit Lions rookie tight end. I don't know what his stat line was. I'm not about to fake the funk, but I saw him make a couple of tough grabs. I know he got tackled early a couple of times, but first game to see his involvement, I was very encouraged by Sam Laporta. So I'm just going to say, I know he didn't break any tackles. I know he didn't do anything after the catch. But, man, I'm very – if I did not have any Laporta today, in my mind, I'd be like, I might be secretly trying to grab me some Sam Laporta. So what are you doing? You trading away or you trading for Sam Laporta?
I would definitely still be trading for Sam Laporta. The question is what is that price? Because you said you're not really sure of the stat line. He was 5 for 5, so 5 targets, 5 receptions, only 39 yards. So it was a lot of dink and dunk type stuff. And to your point, he didn't look as explosive after the catch that we saw in college. But again, he's coming to the NFL, different game, right? Bigger, faster, stronger, and he'll adjust, in my opinion. But he did look great in the run blocking game. Yes. He sealed the edge very well. Field. I mean, Iowa tight end, right? 72% of route participation. Dwayne McFarland wants to see around 80, so he's almost there. 72%, we want to see 80 for a tight end. 19% targets per route run. He said that's good. And he said, more importantly, for a rookie, those are great marks. Rookie tight ends never play. They never see any work. When we see him come in, and he was third on the team in receptions yesterday. That's great. Like, for an offense that clearly is funneling to a few targets, it was Josh Reynolds, it was Amon-Ra, and it was Laporta. And, Marvin Jones got his targets as well, but if he's looking like the way he's looking, he's not going to be getting targets for long. So you look at that three-headed monster, any tight end who's the top 3 target on their team, especially when you're seeing volume like this, I want that player on my team. And especially we know he can be a monster in the red zone potentially as well for a team that doesn't have a lot of big guys that can do it in the red zone. I do like Laporta long term and would definitely be buying. The stat line looks, kind of okay, but for a guy who's playing almost 80% of snaps, dude, 5 targets, 80% of snaps almost.
I mean, he got more targets and receptions than JaMarr Gibbs. I'm in. I mean, we liked him before, but this was encouraging. The fact that he is a good blocker, he's going to be on the field. This feels good. I didn't see a lot of James Mitchell. I didn't see a lot of Brock Wright. So this feels good. Very much. Everybody has Laporta feels great today. They feel great today. Let me ask you real quick, Jay. Would you trade him for a first and a tier down at a tight end? Maybe, you get a 24 first and Gerald Everett. 24 first and Gerald Everett for Laporta.
I could see someone making that trade. I don't think that's a bad process move to sell high on Laporta, because I think the reality is that even though I like the talent, we don't know if he has this great ceiling either.
We got to go. Just answer the question. Laporta?
I would say, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, what about, let me get a little dirtier just to see. Dalton Schultz in the first for your Laporta.
I think you'd be fine doing it. I think if you can get a capable tight end and a first, I think that's fine. Why? So where would be your cutoff point?
I don't know. Next question.
I think I'm more inclined to look at Njoku and a second for Laporta.
Njoku in a second for all right. Let's go. We got 2 more overreaction. We buying or we selling, all right? You trading for or trading away. Here we go. Everyone's favorite receiver. This guy, listen, you told me, JRich, this, I asked you this, I flat out, hey, pull the receipts. I asked you this shit on Wednesday. I was like, hey, man, I don't know about any of these. Did I not say it? I don't know about any of these guys. You're all right. All right, I'm telling you, Sky Moore is the guy.
Confident. I said he's the guy. Sky Moore is the only one I would.
What are you doing with Sky Moore? You trading for him or you trading him away?
I would be well, the problem is you can't put him on the block because he's not worth anything right now. I mean, the dude only had a 7.7% target share absence of Travis Kelce. I mean, Ray, what are we doing here? This guy should be getting the ball. He can't. Kadarius Toney, who is literally allowing pick sixes.
Why should he be getting
passes,
why should he get the ball? Why should he get the ball? Why should he get the ball?
But what do we do with him? Does he have any value today?
One rush for 4 yards.
It's just,
and
you
then
can't
the
do
catch
anything
he
with
gets
Sky Moore. You got to pray that he
back.
has a good game and then sell him because he's doing nothing right now. We heard, oh, it's Sky Moore season, everybody. Get ready. It's Sky Moore's time to shine. What'd he do? 0 receiving yards. This guy's supposed to be a wide receiver. He's wearing a running back number, and guess what, Ray? He's playing like it. Ridiculous.
Okay,
absolutely ridiculous. And the only play he did make was taken back on a penalty, on a holding call, of course.
I'll say this, man. I think he was targeted a couple of times, so there's a look.
Three targets on the box score plus the one that got called back. So less than Toney, less than Rashee Rice, the same as Pacheco, less than Noah Gray. equal to Watson if you count the penalty, but Watson also drew a penalty and more than MVS, because MVS only got 2.
Joe's already called him psych more, fried more. He's cooked. Joe, relax. She is going in on him. Somebody said, Ray, I thought Justin Ross was the truth. He's playing behind all these guys. Did I ever say he was? When did I say he was the truth? What are you talking about?
We just said he hopes he makes the 53. But
yeah,
Ray, you know, when they scored
we
the
hope he makes
first
the
touchdown.
Yeah.
When they scored the first touchdown, did you see him at the top of the screen against like someone who's 5'10"? I was like, oh man, the fade is coming and the hype is about to go crazy.
Sky Moore.
Sell.
I don't think
the sky, Ray, the thumbnail was almost the sky is falling. Because that's how bad it is right now.
I'm not trying to go too far, and I just one more week. You're the one who told everybody that's the one to play, but
I said it's the only one we should believe in, and I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
All right, last one. Buy or sell? Are you right now, 2 days after the game, overreacting? Are you buying or selling this player? Jameson Williams. What are you doing with J-Mo? We talked about the lack of speed on this Lions offense. Got the job done. A lot of good players. Jay, I believe once he's back from his suspension, brick hands or not, they're going to throw him out there. They are going to throw him out there and let him do drag routes, 9 routes, bang 8s. They're going to let him do those things. Just get down the field, open it up for, and I think it'd be good for St. Brown. Like, it looked like Amon-Ra was due for like 11 receptions, and I don't know if Kansas City adjusted coverage on him, but they pretty much said, we're not going to let you keep doing this over the middle dig routes. We're not going to let you continue to have those routes. Majority of his routes were in between like 10 yards or fewer. So hopefully J-Mo coming back, being able to open that up, utilizing Gibbs some more in space, could provide Amon-Ra and Laporta with some of those more intermediate opportunities. But right now today, J-Mo, you trading for him or trading him away?
Can I request a price? I think I'm trading him away.
A second round pick. Second round pick is what you can get for him. Second or J-Mo.
I think I'd want more than a second.
You're not
but
getting
I would
more
definitely
than
be considering it.
A second.
I'd be
Are you going to be greedy?
I know
or
that
you don't take it.
I know you don't think Josh Reynolds was valuable, but he literally led their team in receiving yards.
I didn't say he wasn't valuable.
But you said he got hawked down, which
I just said he was slow, which is objectively true. He's slow. He's a slow player.
But he moved the chains. He made big plays. Like, yes, he didn't have the biggest play where he ran it into the end zone. He got caught down, but he kept onto the ball. He played well. I actually am like a little bit concerned that Reynolds could take his job to some degree. And then you're looking at to some degree, take some of his snaps away. Because if J-Mo's not showing like the first round pick and he's already not in camp because he's suspended, and Reynolds is playing well, what's the incentive to give J-Mo snaps over Reynolds when you're trying to win games and make the playoffs, right? And then he gets reduced to a role that's probably out of the slot. Yes, he'll get
I just told you what the incentive is because they have no team speed. That's the incentive.
Okay, but where's the value going to come from if he's only getting like 2 targets a game?
The value comes from what that does for the rest of the team. The value is you add an element of speed to your offense and it opens up things for the players that you want to throw the ball to. Has nothing to do with him coming in and taking this monstrous target share away from Amon-Ra or Laporta or Gibbs or whomever. But for this offense, him being back, he will get opportunities. They want to run the play action, but there's nobody to throw the ball downfield. After Goff play actions and rolls out, he's in a 7-step drop. There's nobody down there. Amon-Ra's right there 5 yards away from the line of scrimmage. Reynolds is slugging it out there on the side, right? They don't have anybody. So that's where the value comes. Joe said a second ain't enough. You could have gotten him. I think you could still get him.
You could have got a first all offseason.
I think you probably could still in some spots, man. Jay, it's already 7:30 and we got to get through the damn game. So, we will do this every Friday. We are going to just overreact to what we saw on Thursday. Just for fun, man. It was a fun game. Good stuff, Jay. But we got a little bit of news. Talk about it real quick. What's the news? What we got?
So since our show on Wednesday, Cooper Kupp was officially ruled out. So it is officially Van Jefferson's season and Tyler Higbee going to have massive weeks this week. So excited to see what happens with them. You know, can this Rams team ultimately keep up with Seattle? We'll see. We'll break down that game a little bit later on. And then, of course, Joe Burrow, mega extension, $275 million over 5 years, $219 million guaranteed, slightly more than Justin Herbert. But trailing, of course, the money man himself, Deshaun Watson, $230 million guaranteed over 5 years with the Cleveland Browns. But Joe Burrow got his money. And now, Ray, we got to expect a big game from a guy who is 1-4 versus the Cleveland Browns in his career. So Joe Burr has to show up now. Moneybag Joe Cool. Excited to see him get his money, though. Dude deserved it. We've been waiting on this for feels like months now. Happy to see the Bengals ultimately got it done with Joe Burrow because he has meant everything to that franchise ever since they drafted him.
Highest paid quarterback in NFL history?
Player in NFL history, period.
Highest paid player in NFL history, but not the most guaranteed money, right?
Not quite the most guaranteed yet.
Still
we still got
not
a ways to
topping
go.
old Deshaun Watson, huh?
Deshaun Watson getting the contract of the century.
What did Cleveland do? Man.
The Cleveland Browns set the worst precedent in NFL history by paying Deshaun Watson $230 million guaranteed. But we'll get there. Someone will pass him eventually, one of these days.
All right, Jay. So this year, last year when we did these Friday shows, we just kind of went through every game and just quickly just touched on the whole game. This year, we're going to do things a little different. We're going to go through some of the games, just talk about some players, some ADP, some value, some things that can happen that we're most excited to see. And it's the Cowboys, baby. I got to start off with the Cowboys-Giants. They play Sunday night. And for me, Jay, in this game, the player that I'm most excited to see 100% for me is the man, Tony Pollard. I'm ready to see him. He's underdogs RB6, ADP of 14.2, so almost a first-round pick in underdog drafts over the summer. I got 25 shares of Tony Pollard, man. 25 shares, 13.5%. A lot of people are very high on Tony Pollard this year. A lot of people think he can be RB1 overall. He's got the backfield, in quotes, to himself. This could be a very big year. New offensive coordinator. You look at the running backs behind Tony Pollard. Nobody is really like a stalwart, right? You got Rico Dowdle. You've got Deuce Vaughn. But this could be Tony Pollard's season. The offensive line is strong. You got Tyron Smith, Tyler Biadasz, Zach Martin, Terrence Steele on the right. This is a good offense, right? CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Brandon Cooks. I'm excited for Tony Pollard, Jay. I really want to see him, and this is a good test because, if Tyler Smith may not play in this game, they got to go against Dexter Lawrence, one of the best D tackles in football, Kevon Thibodeau on the defensive line, and a Giants team that should score some points. So for me, out of this game, Tony Pollard is one of the players that I'm very excited to see. And of course, y'all know, Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones. We couldn't have talked about him more. Over the summer, underdogs QB 12, ADP of 106. I've got 20 shares of Daniel Jones in underdog. And the reality is, I think everybody watching this, everybody listening, everybody fans of the Giants, we all want to know if last year was a blip or is it a trend? Is he for real or was it a fluke? We all knew Daniel Jones had massive talent, 6'5", 230, can fly. Brian Daboll comes in and really turns things around for Daniel Jones. He was QB 10 last year, Jay, and I've been on record saying that if there were a dark horse candidate for a player to have sneaky top 5 upside this year, I believe that player is Daniel Jones. So is he for real? Is this thing really going to be something? And if so, you look at him from a physical standpoint, he's got everything that you want from a quarterback. Arm strength, mobility, the size, durability. Like he's just always gets hit, just gets up. Dumb look on his face, and he just gets up and gets to playing. But this is a guy that 700-yard rushing floor. Get Darren Waller in the building. I like their disgusting cast of wide receivers. It works for them. Slayton and Hodgins and Campbell, it works for Daboll and the Giants. So I think this could be one of the players that we look at the end of the season, and he finishes QB7, QB8 points per game, and he really cements himself as a legitimate dynasty asset at QB. Could be one of those things where, damn, I probably should have drafted a little more Daniel Jones. And then you put Darren Waller in here as well. Can he continue his hype from preseason week 2 with Daniel Jones, Brian Daboll? Waller's married. He's in a new place. He's happy. Life is good. This is going to be an exciting Sunday night game, Jay.
Yeah, man. I think this is really interesting because when I look at this game, and Ray, I really want your take on this. I almost feel like both these teams are built in very similar lights, but with different personnel and strengths in different places. You look at the Giants, they both have great running backs, right? They're going to go through the running game. And I almost want to see Daniel Jones play a little more like Dak Prescott and Dak Prescott to play a little bit more like Daniel Jones. And I think, looking to see how Daboll would use Waller, knowing that he's got Trayvon Diggs and Stephon Gilmore on the outside. Those receivers outside are doing absolutely nothing in this matchup. There is no way they will ever have a competitive edge versus the cornerbacks. And so the question is, how does Dan Quinn ultimately defend Waller, and will he put a Gilmore on Waller? Because that may be what's best for this team. So I'm curious what your thoughts are on that, because again, you have Tony Pollard. We know he's going to do a lot of damage versus these linebackers. And the guy you didn't mention, Isaiah Simmons, who they traded for, who will be blitzing a lot, I'd bet, off the edge, and seeing how Wink Martindale ultimately uses him. So I'm curious to see how that happens, but I think Waller is the key to the victory for the Giants. And if he can play well, I think the Giants can win this game. I really, really do. I think the Giants can win, but I think it's going to be on the back of a massive performance from Waller. And how does Dan Quinn ultimately counter a big game from Waller, and how do the Cowboys respond on offense? Because I think there are some question marks depending on how they look, and I think this Giants defense will be much improved from last season.
Hey, Jimbo. Hey, bet good, homie. Bet good. Case of Topo, Jimbo. And listen, I want DoorDash can do. I don't know where you live, Jimbo, but you can DoorDash my Topo Chico. Lock the bet in. Me and Jimbo, Cowboys beating the Giants. If they lose, I got you. I will DoorDash you a case of Topo. You let me know. If you win, I want my bet. I don't play about my money. So bet good, Jimbo. Cowboys beat the Giants. Let's go to the Cincy-Cleveland game, Jay. We talked about the main man, Joe Burrow, and the money that he's got. Talk to me about some players that you are excited to see from this game, and who do we think wins this one?
So for me, players that aren't necessarily under the radar but aren't the quarterbacks, I'm super excited for Joe Burrow. I'm super excited for Watson because he hasn't looked so great in preseason. But I think the key for me really is Elijah Moore and seeing how they implement him in the offense. But it really comes down to Cleveland. What did they ultimately do on offense? Because I think on defense, they could be in trouble in this one. How does Watson look? How does he integrate? We know he has chemistry with Amari Cooper. We know the GPJ will be involved, but we need Elijah Moore to be good for this team to be competitive in the AFC North, and we need Watson to be good, right? We saw some good things from him in the preseason. We saw some bad as well. I'm probably most excited for Nick Chubb, but that's kind of obvious. I want to see can he get the receiving work that we expect. Like, can he just be an absolute workhorse in this game against the Cincy defense? Because I think they're going to need it. Cincy, on the back end, they lost Jesse Bates and they lost Von Bell. How did they ultimately play on defense? But the biggest key people need to understand is Jim Schwartz is now the defensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns. He runs a lot of single high coverage. One of the best receivers in the NFL is on the other side for the Cincinnati Bengals. He has a 3 yards per route run versus single high coverages. So it could be a massive game from Burrow and from JaMarr Chase. So yes, of course, we're excited to see JaMarr Chase, but we could see a massive game if Jim Schwartz does not play too high coverage, which they've had a lot of success against Burrow in the past. The last season, under 240 yards in both games against Cleveland last year. Now they were in November and December. This one, much warmer weather, bit more exciting. But if they play single high coverage, we could see a massive performance from Joe Burrow and from JaMarr Chase because his yards per route run drops to under 2 versus 2 high coverage. Over 3, and in his best season, 2021, Ray, 3.3 yards per route run for JaMarr Chase as a rookie. So that's the key to this game is, do they play too high or do they play single high? Because if they play single high, JaMarr Chase is going to go absolutely bonkers in this one.
Whose article are you reading right now, man? You over here popping off. Like Lotto said, shh, let me pop off. I hear you, Jay. Look at that. All that stats and yards per route run. You're reading somebody's article right now.
People.
I know it.
You just gotta know the right people. That's all.
Yeah, you just Google searched it somewhere and read it verbatim off the screen. I'm with you. I'm excited to see Burrow. I'm excited to see. It is Deshaun Watson for me. I want to see
he's the guy.
What Watson looks like, right? This was a guy that prior to his suspension, QB2, right after Mahomes. After that season where he led the league in passing with no receivers, QB2 gets suspended, misses damn near 2 years of football. We need to know if he's the real deal or not. Is he still Deshaun Watson, or has he lost everything? This is not the same offense, not the same player. I'm with you. I mean, Elijah Moore, sure. It's Nick Chubb, Deshaun Watson for me. Those are the guys that I really want to see. And I do think the Cincinnati Bengals and the new highest paid player in NFL history, Joe Burrow, get it done, Jay. Let's go to Atlanta, Carolina. A lot of young guys in this game. We all want to see the rookie Bryce Young. A lot of people may want to see what Desmond Ridder looks like. For me, Jay, it's Drizzy. It's Drake London. I want to see what Drake London looks like. This is the guy, if you believe the reports, he's the one. And the reason why I'm excited to see London is I think we all assume, or can at least reasonably assume, that this is going to be a run-heavy offense. Arthur Smith, you draft Bijan Robinson, you don't draft him to not get him the ball. You've got Tyler Algier, who is a 1,000-yard rusher as a rookie, much different player than Bijan. I think these two are going to be a phenomenal complement. I think what we sort of wanted to see last night from Detroit, Monty and Gibbs, we'll probably see that, but more skewed towards the Bijan side with the Atlanta Falcons in this Carolina game. So Drake London is the guy. We love Kyle Pitts. All reports are he's, the knee injury with the MCL. London's the one. He's the direct target monster for Desmond Ridder. And a lot of people in fantasy have been a little hesitant to go all in on London because of the low volume in the passing offense.
Yeah.
But, Jay, if he walks out there week 1 versus Carolina, 38% target share, 30% of the targets are going to Drake London. That's going to be one of them situations where you're like, man, I probably, even if they're not going to throw the ball 600 times, they're going to get London the ball more times than not. It's going to be one of those situations where, damn, maybe we should have had a little more Drake London. And Jay, of course, we want to see Bijan Robinson.
Has to be.
I mean, come on. I don't know how much we need to talk about that, but yes, we want to see Bijan Robinson in this game. Anybody else that you're truly looking forward to watching? Other than that, I want to watch how Bryce Young operates, but on the Carolina offense, there's nobody that gets me excited. Atlanta side, it's Ridder, it's Robinson, it's London, it's Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Carolina. I think that Mingo is interesting, not because I'm excited to see him play, but he could walk in as the wide receiver 1 in this game, right? We know that Thielen's banged up, Terrace Marshall's banged up, DJ Chark may not play in this one. So Bryce Young may literally be walking into this game down 3 weapons, and Mingo is the number 1 target on the team. At which point, let's see how he plays, how he operates. You talk about London, he's probably going to see a heavy dose of JC Horn, and then you have AJ Terrell on the other side. So the number 1 wide receivers are going to have to really work in this matchup. So I'm curious how some of these secondary players and the auxiliary pieces in this offense operate. You talked about Bijan. I think it's going to have to be a massive game from him. But in my opinion, Atlanta can run away with this one. If Brian Burns doesn't play, that defense for Carolina is heavily losing a big piece.
Chimbo said he's hyped for Hayden Hurst season, baby. He's ready for that Hurst.
To his point, if there's no available weapons, he could see, 5-6 targets in this matchup, especially if Carolina is down. Bryce Young's got to throw the ball to somebody. It's not going to be, it may be a Laporta 5 for 39 and a touchdown or 5 for 50. But if there's no other options there, then they could thrive. So I think it's just, how does Bryce Young look? But honestly, not so optimistic for him in week 1. I do think that, the addition of the defensive tackles that Atlanta brought in is going to be huge for them in the run game. And of course, Jesse Bates on the back end being the leader of that secondary should pose massive dividends for the Falcons early on and give Bryce a lot of fits. But I know that you're very excited for the next game, Ray, because there is a lot of players that we want to talk about, but we won't touch on all of them. San Fran at Pittsburgh, Ray. Brock Purdy's debut after the UCL injury. Nick Bosa got paid, so he will be playing in this one. We'll see how many snaps he ultimately plays. But start off with your boy Brock Purdy, because he is the guy everyone wants to see. How does he look? How does he play? And especially versus a Steelers defense that will be after him early, rushing forward and probably getting home against this San Fran offensive line.
Here's the thing. I mean, it's go time now. There was no bigger topic on this show over the summer than Brock Purdy versus Trey Lance. There was no bigger show than that. Like, we talked about that all the time. And there were a lot of people who just had their eyes closed and they thought Trey Lance was just going to somehow come back and take this job, and he's gone. So that story is over. Case closed. Cool. We predicted that right. But now it's go time. Now you are the starter, Brock Purdy. It is your job. This is a team that is Super Bowl ready. This is a team that is holding 3 of the highest paid players at their position in the NFL. It's go time. It's you. You won the job. You're the man. All right, let's go. There are no excuses now. Let's see what he can do. I'm very curious to see what this looks like. Do they open this offense up? Does he roll out there and just pick up where he left off? He hasn't lost an NFL game yet. He hadn't lost a game in which he started and finished. He has not lost a game in which he started the game and finished the game. And you know it's inevitable. You know it's coming. And I think that when it comes, Jay, he hadn't even had his welcome to the NFL moment where you just get rocked, where you go out there and throw 2-3 picks, fumble the ball, picks. He hadn't had that moment. Patrick Mahomes had a pick 6 last night. Patrick Mahomes was getting passes dropped. Brock Purdy has yet to have his welcome to the NFL oh shit moment. It's going to come at some point this year, and what's going to be interesting to see is how he bounces back from that moment, because he has not had to face adversity, pressure, scrutiny, on this isn't just a team. This is a Super Bowl expectation caliber team. So I'm ready to see it. Let's go, Brock. You got the job. Everyone talked you up. it's go time for Brock Purdy. And on the other side of the ball, Jay, Kenny Pickett, I know you're excited to see Kenny Pickett.
Dude, let's go.
I think everybody's excited for this player, though. That dog, George Pickens. I'm excited to see GP play. This is a player, 800 yards as a rookie. You've seen all the catches in training camp, all the highlights, the acrobatic plays, the dog mentality from George Pickens. If Kenny Pickett is really going to take a step forward in this offense, Deontay Johnson, no doubt, is going to get his. Pat Freiermuth is going to have opportunities at tight end. But opposite of that, George Pickens should see volume down the field, red zone opportunities. I know you're bullish on Kenny Pickett. I'm excited about Kenny Pickett. So just on the offensive side of the ball, George Pickens and Jaylen Warren, Jay. First of all, nobody thinks Jaylen Warren is going to take over and be the RB1 in Pittsburgh. Now, I've seen some reports where people think by the end of the year he could be the lead dog. I don't think that's going to happen. I do believe that these two complement each other very well. Warren does things Najee Harris can't do, and Najee can do things Jaylen Warren can't do. But when you look at where Jaylen Warren was going, underdog, RB37, Jay, so right outside of an RB3, I've got 15 shares of Warren, man, and this could be one of those roles where he's got standalone value in this offense if he is, in fact, the passing down back. He does get 8-9 touches out of the backfield. This could be a player that you're like, man, you see that 30, the light-skinned brother, you thinking Austin Eckler, right? You're thinking some Austin Eckler light. But I'm very excited to see George Pickens with Kenny Pickett, to see Jaylen Warren in this offense that revamped their offensive line. You bring in Darnell Washington. You draft Broderick Jones from Georgia. You pick up, I think they traded for another guard from the Philadelphia Eagles or signed a guard from Philadelphia. So this is a team that should be much improved offensively. I'm excited to see those guys as well as Brock Purdy. Let's move on to the Miami-LA game. Talk about who you're ready to see from this one, Jay.
Oh, Ray, it's the battle of the 2020 quarterbacks, baby.
Let's go.
Justin Herbert versus Tua Tagovailoa, round, 2 or 3 now? I mean, it couldn't have got much worse for the Miami Dolphins last season. But let's talk about the new look Chargers under Kellen Moore, right? Obviously, Kellen Moore came in, going to be bombing it all day long. Justin Herbert had 367 and a touchdown versus Miami last season. Now, he will be going against Vic Fangio. And, Ray, I did pull some numbers for you. Kellen Moore versus Vic Fangio. Last time they squared off, I believe, was in Dallas, back when Fangio was the head coach of the Denver Broncos and Kellen Moore was still the OC for the Dallas Cowboys. He had Dak under 250 yards, and he held the running game, Zeke and Pollard combined, to 14 carries and 62 yards. Now, of course, it is a different personnel grouping, but Vic Fangio, we know his defenses are great. So I'm really curious how this game ultimately shakes out, because a lot of people are expecting big things from the Dolphins, and part of it is Tua coming back and looking good, and part of it is this defense being much improved over last season. The two edge rushers that they have are going to cause havoc for the LA Chargers, and I'm so curious how they ultimately deploy them. We'll see with the secondary, though. That was the major weakness for Miami last season. They did bring in Jalen Ramsey, but we know he is not going to be playing in this one. In SoFi, should be Fox Game of the Week. The NFL is excited. I'm sure Roger Goodell will be in attendance, but it's going to be a big game, and I think it's going to be the battle of the quarterbacks. We'll probably see some Quentin Johnston. I think everyone is excited to see the usage of Austin Eckler, because a lot are predicting a downtick in targets for him and a lot more passes down the field, right?
Really?
I mean, Kellen Moore and his style, it's more downfield passing. It's not so much checking down. When you go from a Pete Carmichael who checks the ball down a lot to a spread and shred type offense that Kellen Moore runs, they'll probably run the ball a lot still. I think we'll see some Joshua Kelly potentially.
Josh Kelly,
because they do deploy two running backs quite a bit in Kellen Moore's system. The Cowboys ran the ball the most with their running backs in the NFL last season. So for everything that people think, the Bears and the Atlanta Falcons, it was actually the Cowboys who ran the ball the most with their running backs. I believe it was 436 attempts between Zeke, Pollard, and the other running backs as well. But for me, it's about the battle of the quarterbacks. And please, God, can Tua redeem himself from his 10 for 28 145 performance they had last season. And as well, I'm looking to see how Raheem Mostert fares as the lead dog. He had 11 carries for only 37 yards in the matchup they had last season. Jeff Wilson did play in that one, obviously won't be in this one. And maybe, Ray, can we see a little bit of a Devon A-Chain too? Because I'm excited to see some A-Chain, but we know he is dealing with some injuries, so we'll see how heavily involved he is. But really, for me, it's the quarterbacks and maybe some Quentin Johnston, but it doesn't seem like his role is going to be too solidified early in the season.
All right. Now, there was some news out of New England that there's some turmoil with old Bill Belichick and his girl. Listen, I don't know, man. They got Matt Corral there, Mac Jones. Philly, New England, Jay. Philly on the road, opening it up. I mean, I'll say this. I have not heard a lot of news at all, Jay. Zero really out of Philadelphia offensively. Hurts. None of those guys played in the preseason a lick. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. I just want to see the Eagles offense without Shane Steichen. I want to see how A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith and Dallas Goedert and all those running backs, I want to see what this new look Eagles offense is. No Shane Steichen. He's in Indianapolis. Listen, I'm not really concerned about Philadelphia losing this game versus the New England Patriots, but I do want to see how this offense moves the ball without the play caller that got them to the Super Bowl last year. On the New England side of the ball, for me, it's really Zeke Elliott and Ramondre Stevenson, how those two work in tandem. And then, is there a receiver worth rostering from New England? Is it Devontae Parker? Is it, the reports are Juju's knee can explode at any moment. So I don't want that on my roster. I don't want to plug him in the lineup and the knee blows up. I don't want that. Is it Thornton? Is it Kendrick Bourne? Is it I don't know. Let me see Zeke and Ramon. This is going
to be an ugly game, Ray. It's going to be an ugly game.
Yeah,
Literally, the only player I had in terms of that we expect something from is A.J. Brown, because he is the man beater for the Philadelphia Eagles. And the other question for me is, like you kind of already brought up, Shane Steichen. How does him not being there impact this offense? They did hire from within, though, so I think they'll be okay in terms of how they operate.
Thornton's on the IR. Look at Tyquan's on
Thornton's on IR, so he's not going to play anyways. And then the big thing is, do the Eagles show up in the second half?
Did Butte make the 53? Did he make the 53?
I mean, I wasn't looking, but I believe he did.
Did Kayshawn make the 53? Jimbo saying Butte. Did Kayshawn make the 53? I need to know. Hit the like button, too. It's 420 people in here. Hit the damn like button. Why would y'all not like the video? Like the wide receiver for the one. Robert said Butte, wide receiver one. Did he? He must have made the 53. All right?
I think he made the... But, I mean, Ray, they have no options. Like, Kendrick Bourne could easily be the second receiver in this
trash
team.
about him to start, so hell, I don't know. I'm asking the question, man. Yeah, he made the 53. Joe said it. Robert said it. Yeah. It's on the 53.
Okay, Ray, I do have one question for you, because if everyone wants to know the answer.
What?
Who leads this Eagles backfield in touches week 1?
Rashad Penny.
Rashad Penny.
I'm gonna go with Rashad Penny. Who do you got?
Okay.
Who do you got?
I'd probably go Rashad Penny too. I wouldn't go Swift.
Penny?
Yeah, I wouldn't go Swift. I'm not going Gainwell. It's not.
You said
Scott.
week 1. I'm gonna go Rashad Penny.
Just week 1.
I'm going Rashad Penny.
I'm going Penny too. I think they got to hammer the ball up the middle and just play ball control.
All right, stop delaying, because you think I'm not going to ask you this. Stop delaying it. You're talking forever because you don't want to get to this game. You don't want to talk about it. You said a lot of outlandish things, so stop stalling so we can get to Green Bay, Chicago. Green Bay, Chicago, we got a division matchup out the gate, man. This should be a good one. 2 young quarterbacks, Jordan Love trying to cement his name, and Green Bay Packers, sort of the organization as the franchise quarterback, as well as Justin Fields really trying to say to Ryan Poles and Bears country, I am the guy. So we've got this game. You said you didn't want to talk about it. I think there are a lot of interesting matchups in this one and a lot of fantasy relevant players. You look on the Green Bay side of the ball right now, hamstring issues with Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. Could see a lot of these young guys early. A lot of Luke Musgrave, potentially some Jayden Reed. I'm excited to see how the Packers do use Luke Musgrave, their rookie tight end, who's very athletic. We're getting these rookie tight ends on the field. We saw Laporta get on the field and make some plays early. Maybe this is some opportunity for Musgrave, Jayden Reed. We'll see the injury reports on Sunday morning. But for me, on the offensive side of the ball for the Chicago Bears, it's DJ Moore. It's a player we love. We like us some DJ Moore. We want to see DJ Moore play well. We've said Justin Fields needs a true number 1 receiver, so damn it, they went out and got one. You do not like him nor Justin Fields, so I want to hear from you. What are you most excited to see from this game? For me, it's the young guys on the offensive side of the ball for Green Bay, and there's only 2 players that I really, really, really want to see from the Chicago side. That's Justin Fields and DJ Moore versus, I believe, the Packers have a decent defense as well. So where are you at with this one?
Yeah, so you mentioned Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. So for me, one of the most interesting guys, if they don't play, is Jayden Reed. Jayden Reed was, I believe, the second receiver taken, or the third receiver taken in the second round. Guy we saw at the Senior Bowl that looked phenomenal. All the reports have been glowing in practice. He's probably going to operate as the team's wide receiver 3, regardless of whether Watson and Doubs are available. operating in the slot. And then, of course, you mentioned Luke Musgrave, who I'm super excited for, especially seeing the usage of Laporta in week 1. We've heard similar reports of running with the ones, and especially in preseason, a lot of work for Musgrave. So very, very excited to see both those guys. But the real matchup that everyone should be paying attention to is DJ Moore versus Jair Alexander.
Yes.
Jair Alexander, obviously the number 1 corner for the Packers. The Packers did have a lot of success versus outside wide receivers last season. I think they will have to make their hay in the slot. But ultimately, we all know what this Bears offense is. It's Cole Kmet. It's the running game of whoever's playing back there. It's going to be Justin Fields, and it's going to be DJ Moore. And so if Jair travels with DJ Moore, how does he adjust and how does this team adjust? Because if they can't get the offense going with DJ Moore, I think they're going to struggle. You know, we know that the Packers are going to have a strong running game. If those wide receivers aren't available, Aaron Jones is going to go absolutely crazy because he's going to be heavily involved in the passing game. You know, A.J. Dillon will still do his thing, but I mean, DJ Moore, 48.5 point over-under for receiving yards. The game total's only 42. We'll see, right? I'm not expecting a lot of big things from Moore. He's going to have make a big play probably to really show out for fantasy purposes, but I'm excited to see the matchup because it is a big one, and this is a big game for their NFC North, for the NFC North hopefuls out of Chicago.
Which quarterback plays best, Jordan Love or Justin Fields? If you had to put a bank on it right now, walking out of that game, which quarterback looks like the quarterback for their team?
If we're talking NFL franchise quarterback, I think the answer is Jordan Love. If we're talking fantasy, then it will be Justin Fields.
All right,
but I think that you talk about going against the defense, I'd much rather take Jordan Love versus the Bears defense than take Justin Fields versus this Packers defense, because the Packers defense is pretty good. Remember, they drafted Luke Van Ness, who will be flying off the edge in his rookie performance as well.
Hey, man, who put this Rams-Seahawks game in the show sheet? Who did this? Was this you? This is one of the games you wanted to talk about?
That was not me. We built this whole show sheet, Ray. So let's go off script, because I can't believe you didn't put the Tennessee Titans and the New Orleans Saints on the show sheet.
Why?
Because you have to. So you're not excited to watch the Saints offense this season.
But Kamara's not
games
there.
I'm excited to see.
I'm not.
That's fine.
I'm not excited to watch the Titans,
Olave,
man.
I want to see. The Titans are the Titans.
All right, who do you want to see? I want to see Treylon Burks, Derrick Henry.
Yeah, see, we want to see DeAndre Hopkins. We want to see Chris Olave. We probably want to see what Michael Thomas does. You know, I'm excited to see what Rashid Shaheed can provide to the offense. So for me, like, this is a game that I think can definitely be a high-scoring game. People are looking at it like, oh, I don't know. But there's literally no running game. The Titans' defensive backfield still god-awful. Still terrible. So I think that this is a game that people should be excited for.
Tennessee's got a dope running game. You know that.
They have a great run defense, but they don't have a great secondary. So there's no incentive for the Saints to run the ball that much. And you can see Derek Carr really show out in his first game, and it's in the Superdome too. I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game for Week 1 that no one's really paying attention to. I'm very, very excited for this game. I think it's going to be a really good one.
All right. I agree. I do want to see MT. We do want to see Olave. Could he take that step forward? Anything else? We had the Seahawks on there. I want to see Charbonnet, Geno Smith, JSN play on the Rams side of the ball.
There's no one. Do we want to see Cam Akers? Maybe Van Jefferson?
Who do you want to see from the Rams? I'll tell you. Let me tell you who I want to see. I want to see if Puka Nacua is actually on the field. I want to see if he's actually on the field and playing. I do want to see if Puka Nacua is there, and I want to see the running back rotation. Is it a three-man rotation? Is it Akers all himself? How much is Kyron Williams really involved? I mean, that's sort of where I'm at. So those are a few of the games. We're not going to go through all of them because we don't have enough time to do that. But make sure you tap into Breakfast and Bets on Sunday. We'll probably go through all the games from a sports betting perspective, talk about any last-minute things that may have changed. Jay, good Friday show. Appreciate everybody being in the building on Friday. Anything you want to say to the good people?
Man,
Look at Joe. Joe is excited. Joe been on Tutu for like 2 years now. Joe is not going to let up.
Ray,
I
all
thought
the
about
reports
it.
are he's wide receiver 2.
I thought about saying it too. I thought about it. Damn.
Woof.
Go ahead. Tutu and best ball. I'm with it, man. Go ahead. What you got to say to people?
For me, it's just get excited, man. Week 1 is here. I'm super pumped. Like, even some of these back end games, like Raiders, Denver, could be a sneaky good game with no defense. No way. He's
We got to get Joe out of here. Joe's off the rails. He's 173 now.
And then, of course, Ray, Monday show.
Yeah,
recap,
Monday show.
And we have Bills Jets.
Yeah, let's go.
Fired up for Bills Jets. Fired up for Bills Jets.
We got Texas, Alabama this weekend. Texas, Alabama. Watch the game. Texas, Alabama this weekend is going down.
Who's winning, Ray?
Dion, Colorado, Nebraska. Big noon kickoff. Did you see that they had the highest viewed game, Colorado TCU, on the weekend? Opening weekend, most viewed game.
I'm not shocked at all.
So
right?
we got college stuff.
Do the same thing.
Appreciate everybody being here. Remember the
Texas,
new
Alabama?
Huh?
Do you think they can beat Texas Alabama this week? That would be close. That gives
Nebraska's
me big.
Nebraska's got a fan base, dude.
They got a big fan
don't
base.
sleep
And Colorado,
on.
people will watch Colorado. Obviously, it'll be close.
It'll be interesting. I think Texas Alabama is going to get them in the ratings. It's Texas Alabama. It's got to. It's got to. Appreciate everybody being here. Make sure you tap into the show on Sunday. Be here on Monday. We got a lot of good stuff that we got to go through and a big announcement on Monday. Y'all heard the Dynasty Trades in 5 partnership. Matter of fact, we're going to roll that and we're going to end on that. Y'all have a great weekend. Enjoy the games. Enjoy Saturday. Enjoy Sunday. Hit the like button. We love y'all from the bottom of our heart. We got a lot of good stuff coming for y'all this season. So thank y'all for rocking with us, and let's have a damn good season. We out, man. What's cracking, y'all? You know I ain't big on announcement season, but damn it, this calls for a celebration because 3 of the best minds with one of the best shows in the fantasy football space have decided to join forces with Destination Devy in order to bring you some of the best fantasy football content that you will find. I'm talking about them 3 hammers. Scott Connor, Clay, Shane, the Dynasty Trades in 5 crew have officially partnered with Destination Devy. Yes, I am excited, and you should be too, because here's what you get. The thousands of you that watch that show every single week on YouTube, you send in those super chats, you may not get your questions answered. DTI5, they got you covered now because you could sign up for their exclusive Patreon package, patreon.com/allgas. Sign up for the Dynasty Trades in 5 tier. And if you can't get those questions answered live on the show, you can get them answered live in the channel 24/7, 365. You will also be able to find that show and other shows that Dynasty Trades in 5 will do on the Destination Devy podcast feed. So make sure you subscribe to the feeds in order to get those shows in audio form. And finally, roster reviews. Yes, we have those coming. We've got a team of talented individuals that are going to help you review those rosters, fix those rosters, and take home those fantasy championships. So from the bottom of my heart, from Destination Devy to you, we gonna make it rain this season. Dynasty Trades in 5 and Destination Devy, let's get it.